What is going on, everybody? Lagging Leland here, back with another story. It's been a while since I've done one of these, but I've been really wanting to do another one because I have this story to tell you guys, okay? And, to celebrate the spooky, scary month of October, I've been wanting to share this story with you guys, okay? Now, today's story takes place, probably like 7 or 8 years ago. I was really, really small when this happened. It was Easter, right? And, it was Easter. I was probably like 7 years old. I'm not even sure. I was like really, really small though. So it was a long time ago, right? Probably like 7 or 6 years old. I'm not even sure. I was really small though. I was really small, right? And it was Easter, and I remember me and my family, we went to go to visit some relatives because they were having a big Easter egg hunt for this and all that. And I remember because we had to go a few hours away from we had to go a good ways off from where we lived. It was our relatives. They lived really, really far away, so we had to go driving for a couple hours to get there. And I remember when I got there, right? They had there was this egg hunt, right? They had this egg hunt, and it was a huge egg hunt, just an enormous one. And they had a lot of eggs all over it was like a nice piece of land. I guess to kind of give you guys an idea of where we're at, it wasn't like in the suburbs or anything. If you know what Texas looks like, you'll know that there's like these houses in the woods. Not really in the woods, but kind of just in like the shrubs. I don't know what you call these areas. It's kind of like desert, sort of. But it's like a house with a bunch of land around it, and then like the neighbors who also have a house with a bunch of land on it. That's kind of what the houses look like. And maybe I'll show a picture. I'll pop up a picture of what the houses usually look like. And so we were at a house like this, and again, a place like that has a lot of good opportunities for egg hunting and spots like that. And so they had this gold egg, right? And it had like $50 in it. And as a kid, $50 is like, it could buy you basically anything that you want when you're a kid. And so I remember everyone wanted that gold egg. Everybody wanted that golden egg, and everybody was like strategizing. I guess not really strategizing, but really, really excited to try and catch this gold egg. And I remember I was talking with some of my cousins, and this was like, I remember a lot of my cousins, a lot of my just family was there, extended family as well. And so I remember just talking with some of my family members, I guess cousins, distant cousins that I don't remember too well because I have a big family. And so I'm talking with them and stuff, and I remember there was this one kid. I kind of feel bad for calling him a kid. He was my cousin, but it's extended family, right? I don't remember his name. We have a lot of family. I have a lot of family. And I remember me and him were obviously just talking about what we do with the money and stuff, and that kind of stuff. We had a lot of fun with that, just talking about it. And then the egg hunt came around, right? And this is just a really, it's honestly been glued into my head because I remember it so vividly. I remember they had this my family, or I guess the house, right? My uncle. They had this fence, right? It was a long fence, and there were trees. Not really a tree line, like one of those ones you'd see in like fields. Not really one of those tree lines, but there were trees here and there. And so there was like these trees here and there, and then I remember there was like the grass, obviously, on the good green grass on our side. And I remember me and I think one of my cousins I was talking with earlier, we were there just looking around for the eggs. And I remember we looked over to the other side of the fence, and I remember seeing a man in a silhouette. Like, it was a silhouette of a man. It looked pitch black, like pitch black. And the man was wearing a fedora. I mean, I don't know what you classify as a fedora, but the Indiana Jones hat, but it was black. And he was also wearing one of those trench coats that was also black, like the ones detectives wear. And I remember I saw this man in a trench coat walking around in the yard, just walking around. And he honestly, and the way I remember the person just walking, I remember it looked like something straight out of like a horror movie, kind of. There was something about the way that he walked. It was like, I don't even know how to explain. Like, he had his like legs like the boot, right? And like he would shuffle the leaves with every single step that he took, and it was just a pitch black silhouette. You could not see anything inside of his face, anything like that at all. And I remember just like looking at him. And I remember this as well. I remember looking on his side, and I remember seeing that all of the, like, I remember, because this is weird, this is really weird, okay, because I remember this. The leaves on his side of the fence were all yellow, and a lot of them had fallen to the ground. You know how that happens in the fall? It happens a lot in the fall, how like so the leaves, they turn yellow, and they all fall to the bottom of the, they all fall off the trees and stuff. And I saw right there that all the leaves were on the floor, like a lot of them. There were still leaves on the tree, but there were a lot of them just on the floor. And I remember this guy, right, the silhouette, he was moving the leaves with his feet, and there was like wind blowing as well. I remember there was wind pushing and like pulling the leaves and just moving them around and shifting them around. And like the way leaves get blown off by the wind, they get blown away. And it's really, really, really creepy, and I see this again. Every time he took a step, it's like the leaves would move away from him or towards him. It was like wind was moving with him, kind of thing. And I remember it was so creepy, and I remember we stood looking at him for like a good 10 seconds, maybe more than that, but we were looking at him. It was it felt like, I remember we were looking at him, and we just looked at him. We were like totally just focused on whatever this thing was, and we weren't looking around. We didn't take our eyes off of it, and I don't know how long we looked at it, but it was definitely a good while. And eventually, I turned over to the shoulder, and I asked my cousin, I said, "Hey, do you know who that is?" Because I don't live in that area. And again, it's like hours, like probably 3 or 4 hours from where I live. It's a good ways off. And so I'm like, I don't know anybody around the area. I was like, "Hey, do you happen to know who this is since you live nearby?" Maybe he lives nearby, And so I asked him, I turned my head over, I said, "Hey, do you know who that is?" I see that my cousin is running. He legit took off behind me. I remember, I just turned around. I turned my head around, and I saw that my cousin had taken off. He bolted. He just took off, and he just ran. He ran. I remember seeing that. And I remember we didn't talk about that again. I don't know why. We did not talk about that again, and I don't think I probably have seen him since, but I just don't remember it. Again, we haven't gone over there we have not celebrated Easter at that house since. And I remember after that, I took off as well. I got scared because then I was alone, and I did not want to be alone looking at whatever that thing was. And it was so creepy because I saw, it was like everything on our side was like spring. It was the nice, clean, green spring weather. And I remember seeing on the other side, everything was like dead. It looked all dead. You just see this black, creepy figure, and I honestly, I don't know how to explain it. He had, like, I couldn't see his face. I couldn't see anything. It was so black. Like, it looked like just a shadow. It looked like a shadow. And, it's creepy when you see that, and then everything surrounded by him is dead, or like it came off of the trees. The leaves were off the trees, and they were being blown. I remember that was just so creepy, and it was so creepy, just so creepy. And so I could not stay there. I couldn't stay there and be alone with that. And so I bolted as well. I took off, and we didn't talk about it for the rest of the day. Honestly, we didn't talk about it at all. I didn't even bother asking him about it because I figured he was just not going to want to talk about it. And I remember my dad came around that area as well. He came around that area, and he was also looking for the golden egg. And I was kind of scared because I was just thinking, hey, this is the same area where I saw that figure. And but after that, I didn't see the figure anymore. I didn't see the silhouette. And I remembered. All these years later, I remembered something, and I remembered the day of Easter is the day that Jesus came out of the, he awoken, right? He awoke, and he was resurrected, and he came out of the tomb, and I remember that was Easter, right? That's what Easter is. And I wondered if maybe that shadow figure, that silhouette, was like, I don't know, the devil or something, and it was like pissed, or so. I'm sorry to say that, but maybe something was off about that. You know what I mean? Like maybe something didn't want us celebrating that day. Most of my family's Christian as well, so we celebrate that. We celebrate the day Jesus resurrected, and so maybe the devil didn't want us doing that. And I don't know how to really explain this, but that's kind of a theory that's developed with me over the years. Is what if it did not want us celebrating that? And maybe just some evil spirit didn't want us celebrating that, and it was like watching us from afar, just maybe disgusted by what we were doing, kind of thing. And that really does scare me. And the more I think about it, the more that I really do think that might be the case. That might be the case. Who knows, honestly. But I do remember seeing that silhouette, and it was so creepy. I remember just so many creepy things about it. It was just so unsettling. And I don't know if it was a shadow figure. I don't know if it was a silhouette. I don't know if it was the bad guy, the man downstairs. I don't know if it was the devil. I don't know what it was. I don't know if it was a demon. I don't know what it was. But that still freaks me out to this day. And I'll never forget that. And I'm so happy to finally tell this story to you guys, because this is something that I've always wanted to tell people. And I've told my parents. I've told everybody about it. And I haven't told everybody, but I've told my parents about it. And they know about the story. But I've been wanting to tell you guys about it. I just feel like it feels good to talk about stuff like this, especially stuff that is creepy and it happened to you at one point, and you want to talk about it. But thank you guys so much for watching this story. If you want to see more scary stories or more just stories in general, please let me know in the comments. I'd love to know. I do have a few more scary stories to talk about, but not as good as this one. This was just one that I feel like it's kind of like my scary story, my scary experience, and I still don't know what that thing was, but maybe I'll never know, but maybe it's better that I don't know what it was. But yeah, please make sure to like and subscribe if you haven't. I would really love to hit 1,000. I'm not really sure if I've hit it by this point. I'm going to upload this in October. But please make sure to like and subscribe, because it's always appreciated, and I really want to grow my channel and just help to make the world a better place, if you know what I mean. But God bless you guys, and I'll see you all next time.